My name is Sarah Holger, and I'm the founder of Project Get Outdoors. I appreciate you letting us come in and talk with you today. I start out with this first slide. I want to kind of show you my family. You'll see pictures of my children there. Sage is my oldest, Rose is the middle child, and then Jack is the little surprise baby, little special surprise there. And I just wanted to put these pictures on this title slide to show, we are an outdoors family, and my children are very blessed. They get to go canoeing and fishing and hiking and camping and geocaching and explore the outdoors all the time. But sadly, many, many children out there don't have those opportunities. Okay, and I'm going to try to keep it brief because I know you have more important things you need to talk about tonight. First of all, just our mission is to facilitate outdoor experiences that develop healthy kids and increase environmental stewardship behavior. So it's twofold. We've got a health aspect and getting these kids outdoors so they become comfortable being outside, aware of what's out there, and hopefully grow to want to protect these resources. What we do is we focus on out-of-school programs, so after-school, summer programs, things like that, and bring those programs to where the kids are. Instead of them having to come to Whitewater State Park for a program, this might be right in the trailer park where they live, right at the city park, right at the library, a variety of different venues where we've tried these programs out. And the big thing is we partner with local community organizations and local volunteers. Without those two, we would not exist. We train local communities, local volunteers to implement these programs right in their own communities. Timeline, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but we started back in '05 with that book, Last Child in the Woods by Richard Louv. It kind of sparked a national and international dialogue. And so this started right after that book came out in a small little town in southeast Minnesota, not far from Whitewater, and grew pretty quickly. Other communities heard about what we were doing, and kind of the book was getting a lot of attention too, so it helped. And so a lot of communities started to approach me saying, how can we do this in our town? I had connections through Whitewater, got to know Parks and Trails Council folks here. Dorian Grilly was on board at the time, and he was really excited about this idea. So they actually, you provided Jeff Olson. I don't know if he helped us navigate the 501c3 process. And I think it was '07 there. We got some funds from Parks and Trails Council to be able to, basically funding me at the time, this is before I was even working full-time for the state parks, to develop this concept and take it to other communities. So, and then the University of Minnesota kicked in some funding as well at that time. So we've grown exponentially since then, but it's all programs, communities approach us wanting the program. We got some money from the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund. I think Brett saw me present. Were you at that when I presented?
Yeah, well, I was, and they told you to ask for Mona.
Yes, I was so nervous. And everybody ahead of time said, just be yourself. Don't bring a PowerPoint. Don't dress up in a fancy outfit. That's what everybody else does, and they sit there and yawn. Just be yourself. So I'm in like my little T-shirt and jeans, and I've got the book with me. And yeah, and they end up saying, well, if we could fund your whole thing, how much would you want? And I'm like, I just asked for $10,000. I was like, I don't know, $15,000? And they totally laughed. And yeah, so that was an awesome experience. We hope eventually someday to go back up again, but we want to get our ducks in a row before we ever do that again.
It reminds me of a certain budget meeting with you, Brett.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've continued to partner. Partnering has been our biggest asset, working with, at the local town level, regional, counties, statewide. We even have partnerships with Fish and Wildlife Service, National Park Service, some federal organizations as well. And then in 2013, I just mentioned this because it was a big deal for us. We've been struggling to figure out how we could get AmeriCorps members, and we never had a right fit. You either have to have a literacy component or early childhood, or there's all these avenues. And through the Conservation Corps of Minnesota, we found a perfect fit, bringing on Corps members to help get these kids outdoors and foster stewardship and all that. So in 2013, we brought in our first Corps member, and thanks to the Parks and Trails Council, Andrew had an office space right here in this office. And then in 2014, we did another Corps member. And then, like we said, this year we shifted to the refuge there in Bloomington because they could provide more hands-on day-to-day supervision, which has been great for Kelsey. She's been in and out helping with refuge projects, and in addition to Project Go stuff. We just threw in a couple, testimonials or quotes from people that support the program. This is a pediatrician from Mayo Clinic who was actually on the board for a few years, and we just took an excerpt, but he's really stressing the healthy development, getting these kids outdoors. just to showing a real quick visual of our different sites. We have different kinds of sites. So we have our traditional after-school sites that meet after school each week. Then we're working with daycare centers. We're piloting a training for daycare providers where they can use our backpacks and different resources to implement nature activities. And then backpack sites where different museums, libraries, places like that, we have backpacks families can check out and utilize. And then outreach sites is when we go in for a special event, special program. And there's a few sites that started way back in like 06, 07 that have gone inactive since then, and we're hoping to reignite those sites. Some of our highlights here, so like I said, working with over 100 local, regional, statewide, and federal partnerships. We've developed a toolkit that includes a handbook to train volunteers, the activity backpacks, you see the photo in the middle. We have a training DVD, which the DNR actually helped us create. That was back in 2010, I think. Really high-tech looking, real professional quality training DVD.
Great.
Equipment kits, that was from the LCCMR. We put together like a fishing kit, a camping kit, all these different kits, and the program leaders can check them out for free and utilize these resources. We've had, so this is since 2005, 50 plus sites in 20 different communities. Like I said, a few of those programs have gone inactive, and we're hoping once we have some staffing in place, we can go back and kind of restart those programs again. But we're really proud that this has all been funded strictly through donations, grants, and fundraisers. We don't sell anything. We don't charge a fee for anything. So it's kind of been a struggle, and we're really proud of ourselves that we've made it this far. So showing that, meeting a need with limited funds, this is revenue versus expenses, and every year we're pretty darn close. And we're under, I mean, usually it's under 30,000. So there's been a couple years where we've been up closer to 40,000, but it's a pretty small budget, and we're reaching a lot of people. Just to show an example of some of the different kinds of partners and contributors, showing the bigger, more institutional or bigger groups versus the small local town level. A lot of different partners that have helped make these programs possible, between giving funds or providing volunteers, providing office space, all kinds of different ways they contribute. So a lot of partners, and once again, this is showing the top two tiers are more local and regional partners, and then as you move down, the bottom two tiers are bigger statewide and national partners. And I do have a dream. I have a dream that one day Project Go will be in all states. I never keep it simple. Partnership highlight, I just wanted to stress with the AmeriCorps and the Conservation Corps a little bit of what we've been able to do. This year we were able to bring on 3 Corps members, which we might have bit off more than we could chew because it's a lot trying to supervise them, which is another reason why we need a full-time person. But we have a person in the metro area again, and this year what Kelsey's been working on, and once again, she's getting some support through the Bloomington Refuge there, the Fish and Wildlife Refuge. She developed a new website for us, created some new literature, brochures, things like that. She's created a monthly newsletter she sends out. Brett, do you get those?
Yes.
Because we try to have all of our partners copied on those newsletters. Those are kind of nice.
She's not writing as many as Amy did, though.
No, I don't know. And we tried to have all the Corps members submit things, but it's a work in progress. But at least it shows we're doing things. She's established 7 new sites in the metro area. She's working with the Salvation Army this year, which is new. And then there are multiple YMCAs around the metro area. We're interested in getting training for their day camps that they do.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So there's a big possibility of partnering with the YMCA, and that's one group we're hoping to set up a meeting with and present to about taking on more.
That would be huge leverage.
Would be
and that
huge, and it could
way
be
to get
national.
yeah.
Exactly. She's led 3 trainings for volunteers in the metro area, and she's helped with 13 outreach events. So these are festivals, like the picture in the bottom left. They're different festivals and city events, things like that. So she's reached over 2,000 people. That's kids and adults combined in that. And then the social media, she created a Pinterest page, which is getting a ton of hits. She's super excited about it. I'm like, what is Pinterest? But it's got all these outdoor ideas, so parents are clicking on there to get ideas. And then our Rochester AmeriCorps, she's working with Olmsted County Public Health. That's where her office is. And so they're doing more of a health focus down there, working with daycares and such. But she got a grant, so she was really proud. She'd never written a grant before, to develop some backpacks for the YMCA, the Rochester Library, the Rochester Children's Museum, and a few of the area parks down there. And once again, those are backpacks that either staff or parents can utilize to connect kids to the outdoors. She's developing a training and some resources for the daycare providers down there. So that's going to be a huge thing in the coming year. Also helping create a cultural awareness training for our volunteers. We work with a lot of Somali, Southeast Asian, Latino communities, and we have a lot of volunteers who've never worked with those communities before. So we've we need to train them and give them kind of heads up on things to be aware of when you're working with different communities. And then she's helped with 3 volunteer trainings. So she helped train volunteers at 3 different sites, 35 different outreach events. And this is just as of July, they submitted these totals, so about 1,600 people. So I'm just excited, like what they're being able to do. Oh my goodness. Up in Crookston area, and this is interesting up there, it's the University of Minnesota Extension Service, the Regional Sustainable Development Partnerships, big long title. They actually provided all the funding for this Corps member. They got some Blue Cross Blue Shield money, I think. So they're like, we can fund the Corps member, and they're going to be helping with specific bicycling things they're doing up there, and then community mapping of green spaces and trying to create nature play areas. So they have a specific agenda. But she's helped with some bike rodeos and some different cycling projects. They're actually working to create like a kids bike shop where they can go in and like fix up bikes and stuff. They do program at the White Earth Indian Reservation up there. That's more of like an after school type program. She's helped with 16 outreach events and over 600 people she's reached. The literature that's shown there is one of the community green space maps that was developed last year with the Corps member up there, where they mapped out the parks in the community and highlighted some of the things families can do at those parks. And then the Let's Go Read was a program developed to use at the libraries up in that area, where it ties in like nature story time with outdoor exploration activity. So I'm just super pumped all this stuff they're doing. Some more testimonials. This is the Fish and Wildlife Service down by Winona. She's mentioning, we have the resource to get these kids to experience nature, but Project Go provides youth-directed activity. It's an innovative project, great fit for the refuge, and they're excited to keep growing the partnership. This is a parent from our Chatfield site, which is another Southeast Minnesota site, just expressing her gratitude for the program, and her daughter's really enjoying it. This is a Conservation Corps statement. I don't have to read through the whole thing.
Where's Andy?
Thumbs up, basically. They're excited that we're helping connect kids to the outdoors and foster this next generation of stewards. And then Common Bond Communities, we worked with a couple years. They have our backpacks now, and actually they're working more closely with the Fish and Wildlife Service, which is great. We facilitated that partnership. They didn't even know the Fish and Wildlife Service offered programs. So if anything, we help connect these sites to resources that are nearby. But this is just a statement showing how, wow, these kids really changed over just the course of the summer. They were not excited to go outside at the beginning. At the end, you had to pretty much drag them back to the bus because they didn't want to go home. So numbers showing the sites continue to go up, individuals' reach continue to go up, but look at the volunteer hours. And that comes in with a program director. Our program director would oversee volunteers, training volunteers, retaining volunteers. And so it's once again stressing why we need to bring on a program director. And as far as impact on these children, it's really evident if you work at a site. I ran a site for 10 years. I just had a baby last year, so I'm taking a little short hiatus for a year or two. But what we see as site leaders and volunteers and even parents, these kids are developing skills that get them to want to, be outdoors. And once they have skills and kind of a comfort level, they want to keep going outside. We see changes in their attitudes and their behavior towards the outdoors within the first few weeks. So, it really, short-term wise, makes a difference. We don't have longitudinal data, but there's so much research, academic research out there showing if we provide these kinds of experiences, it's going to foster stewardship as they grow. So what we're trying to do is secure funds for a program director, and then we want to raise an additional $50,000 for program support and supply. So for 2015-2016, our goal is to raise $90,000. I just want to show you Anisha at my Plainview site that I ran for 10 years. When she was 4 years old, she started seeing the program was going on, and she was too little at the time because you had to be in kindergarten. And she said, I can't wait till I can come. She started in kindergarten. She's come every year since then. She's actually 12 now. But we've watched her grow through this program, and that's common at a lot of these sites. You see that. And she's a migrant child, so she goes to Texas in the off season, comes back in the summer, and it's the first thing she asks about, when is the program going to start? So what we're going to be asking when we get to the end of this presentation at these places is, how can you guys help us out? And there's a lot of ways you can do that. Funding is our priority. If you're able to, donate, make a multi-year pledge, that would be awesome. You could help us find volunteers, maybe consider some of your employees, sharing this information with family and friends. There's a lot of ways people can volunteer. In-kind resources, just the way you guys provided office space, there's opportunities within these organizations to share resources. We would be happy to explore ways you could do that. And just helping spread the word through a newsletter or website or other ways you might be able to do that. And then opportunities to cost share staff. That's one with some of these different nonprofits. We're going to be exploring that. So, and then that's my little letter, blah, blah, blah. Please help us. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I went through it way fast.